we're going to move on to the next presentation. Experimental Education and Resource Sharing System for Experimental Talents from Ms. Shudan Luo.
Dear experts, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shudan Luo. It's a great honor for me to give the speech on behalf of my research team from Navy Medical University. My report is about the experimental education and resource sharing system for experimental talents. When doing basic medicine experiments, I have found there are some common problems for researchers, such as the lack of information exchange and excessive repetitive operation during the process of learning laboratory techniques or writing experimental reports. But unfortunately, there is not an efficient solution at present. In the era where internet technology is thriving in the medicine field, how to provide researchers with a convenient way to record, save, and communicate the data of the experiments. An idea has come to my team. That is to develop an experimental education and resource sharing system for experimental talents based on internet path sharing. Please pay attention to the center of our poster. From the design frame, we can acknowledge that experimental apps can be understood into two major parts. One is the function for personal experiments. The other is the database stored in the cloud. Now let me introduce the detail about how to operate our experimental talents. When we open the app, various experimental techniques are displayed and sorted into major categories, and we can choose and enter into one of them. Then we are allowed to write personalized experiments and methods, including the principles, preparations, and process records. During the records, we can upload any photos to perfect our notes if necessary. When completed, data can be stored permanently, and the report can be generated and filed automatically for further reading or searching. Besides, experimental talents enable researchers to operate on multi-platforms and search for personal experiments records anywhere and anytime. One of the highlights of this app is that we can score our experiments according to the practicability or other standards. Meanwhile, we are allowed to consult original authors about their public contents, or we can communicate privately with others. When the system accumulates a large number of users, database will be founded. It will contain experimental tutorials, information for reagents and instruments, reviews and usage statistics, and so on. As mentioned above, there are many advantages with the system. First, with the customized recording templates, it will reduce the duplication of researchers' labor. Second, digital media like photos will enrich contents. Besides, multi-platform will facilitate the usage of this app. With scoring function, users can have a direct evaluation on their experimental methods and choose the best one in their next researches. In addition, online communication and discussion will inspire experimental thinking. Last but not least, the database will provide a variety of reference materials and others' opinion on experiments, which will shorten the search time. In conclusion, Experimental Talents app is available before, during, and after an experiment. This basic medical experiment teaching and recording system based on internet class sharing will greatly improve the efficiency of scientific research. This project is currently under development and test. We have done some preliminary tests on our campus. Further improvements are necessary before it is ready for public use. That's all what I want to deliver. Thank you for attention.
So now let me proceed to question and answer sessions. Can we have a question from on-site judge?
Thank you for such an interesting research that you presented. I wondered, I'm not quite sure, is this the app that you improve or develop or create by your team?
Yes, through the internet, we haven't found any tool to record our experiment records. Though we create this app. Yes, we create it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And what is your next step? Is there any more improvement for the app, or what's your next plan after this research?
Yes, we have done some preliminary tests on campus, and many students are involved in the experimental course trials, and we will collect their feedback, and according to their feedback, we will make some improvements. And at present, we have the idea to create an English version because this app is still have the Chinese version, and we want to expand it. Yes.
Thank you.
I have one question. I'm wondering about the privacy and confidentiality of data. If you use this system, how can you ensure about the privacy and confidentiality?
About this question, the resource, the data is set up in cloud servers to ensure the advantage data security, and before the researchers use this app, they should sign a confidentiality agreement, and we promise to keep the privacy of users' data. And with the online communication function, there are some methods to keep the safety of our experimental data, like the function reading is burning and forbid forwarding.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions?
Excuse me, can we store any other, you just mentioned about the photos and comments, any other medias?
Actually, we tend to increase the video function, and yes, we...
Excuse me, the presentation time is over.